Hellboy. As two thick boys, I feel like he represents, and he doesn't come off cartoony. Originally in the comics, Dr. Broom is killed by a frog.
Say what?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, this feels more honorable and dignified.
Yeah, way better. Welcome to the list. This is a show where we grab a movie from our all-time watch list, watch it and review it for your viewing pleasure. The movie we're scratching off the list today is the 2004, 20 years old already,
Damn.
Hellboy. A demon raised from infancy after being conjured by and rescued from the Nazis, grows up to become a defender against the forces of darkness. Of course, this is the good Hellboy we're talking about.
Mm-hmm. What?
I just thought of the old one and it gave me the chills. Yeah, of course, Ron Perlman as Hellboy, Selma Blair, Guillermo del Toro director.
Mm-hmm.
I was trying to think, has there been a better property and director pairing than Hellboy and del Toro? Before you guys start yelling at me that Nolan's Batman, yeah, Nolan's Batman's cool, but I would argue that Nolan would make anything cool.
Yep.
But the essence of the Hellboy world meshes perfectly and so well with Del Toro's style.
Peter Jack and the Lord of the Ring.
That's fair. I was thinking comic book heroes, but yeah. That's a good one too. As hard as people would try, and they've tried to redo those things, it just doesn't come out the same.
No, it doesn't. They can't catch lightning in a bottle the way they did it.
It makes sense because Del Toro was a fan of the comics and worked also with Hellboy legendary writer Mike Mignola. So he knows what the character is, what the character needs and represents, and he wasn't going to let outside hands come in and mess with it, because when Del Toro was meeting with producers, many changes to the Hellboy character were suggested. One idea was to have Hellboy be a human who transforms into Hellboy when he gets angry.
What the
Yes, I'm going to turn into Hellboy right now if that's the case, because that's so stupid and that's not the character. The character is not Red Hulk, you dumb.
Uh-huh.
Another suggestion was that he came from hell, but was a normal human.
Nah, mames.
So changing the character completely, but Del Toro vetoed all these stuff to try to change the character. And we have him to thank because I think this is a movie that we appreciate more looking back.
Yeah, we do appreciate it more, but even when it came out, I thought it was one of the best movies I've seen at the time.
Especially when you look back in the early 2000s, where we were with the superhero movies and the comic book stuff.
Oh, yeah.
It wasn't their best,
No, they were on diapers. They were trying to figure things out.
Yeah, and I feel like Hellboy from 2004 would probably go toe-to-toe with anything that's been out, and especially in the last few years today.
And win.
It hits on everything. It hits on the setting, and it hits on the creepiness. It hits on the bad guy. It hits on the CGI. It hits on everything, and everything's translated brilliantly all these years later.
Yeah, the practical effects on that movie were sublime.
The only thing that I'm going to say does not hold up quite well CGI-wise is Baby Hellboy.
Oh, that red monkey looks funny.
Yeah, he looks off. It definitely looks like he's not carrying that, That's the only thing that I would say does not hold up quite well. But for a 20-year-old movie, man, everything else holds up because, like you said, they blend CGI with practical effects, especially with the Samael creatures and all that other stuff.
Oh, yeah. Those are creepy.
Those took actual performances with guys in suits, like crawling up the walls and fighting with him and all that other stuff.
Bunch of people are like cast as Samael.
And that definitely pays off. So, in the movie, this scary bad guy Rasputin basically opens a portal because he wants to bring the apocalypse to the world. Through the portal comes our little baby Hellboy, and the bad guy gets sucked up back into the portal. Next to the Rasputin bad guy is like this badass scary bad guy, Hitler's top assassin dude named Karl
Rupert Cronin.
Exactly. And he is badass, man.
I was hoping that he would keep the Nazi uniform throughout the whole movie.
He would stick out as a sore thumb, though. He's already very interesting. He looks like a Soul Calibur character as it is.
Yeah, he does.
He looks like a brother of Valdo, so you want to slap an armband on him too. I think he would stick out a little bit too much.
He is an amazing character, an amazing secondary character. But even in the first suit he has,
yeah,
I think he's more intimidating then than he is later.
I just love the tech, because not only with the guns and all this other stuff, especially towards in the middle of the movie when he like self-destructs himself, and the mechanism that's pulled out of his heart that makes him keep going, all this other stuff was brilliant, and that kept changing as stuff was happening to the bad guy too.
Oh yeah, all those like bits and pieces of clockwork he has. It now. It's even more bone-chilling the fact that there's the part where Professor Broom says he did this all to himself.
Yeah, he was like a masochist to like plastic surgery.
Oh, that just goes on a whole other level now than on my level of understanding.
There's like an element of horror when he's like sitting there and he starts breathing in the plastic thing over his face. And then he sits up and you can kind of see him, but not really because he's ugly. Yeah, I really, really love that guy. And then to compliment him, you have Rasputin, and who now 60 years later, they try to bring him back, and they do successfully on the Pool of Blood. That looked awesome.
Looks so intimidating, even though he's not that intimidating.
No, he's kind of whack, and like he doesn't offer much for a fight. He's more like an intellectual guy.
Yeah, he's the mastermind behind the thing.
Yeah, so when it comes to like combat, he does like let us down a little bit in that department. I wish he was like revealed to be like this big buff dude who could fight.
Oh, someone.
Because I mean, the way it ends, he just basically gets stabbed and then done.
It was very strange getting Hellboy while trying to summon some Lovecraftian evil demon gods. He kind of opened a portal to space, not to hell. So how did Hellboy come in? I don't know, but f*** it. I love it.
Yeah, they do mix, like a lot of the creatures are Lovecraftian based. It's all about this giant creature that's unknown to us in the sky that's just waiting to eat us kind of thing.
Simon, still, it lends itself so well to the fact that this big ass red demon is fighting cosmic entities.
Then we see the agent being part of the BPRD, and he gets to meet Abe Sapien, who is awesome. Visually, he's probably the best looking character. There's not a bad character in the bunch, but he just looks awesome. You can't help but just to look at him and see what the hell is he doing in there.
Played by the amazing and masterful Doug Jones.
Yes, he plays him physically, but he's actually voiced by Niles Crane, aka David Hyde Pierce.
Oh shit!
Oh, for God's sake, Fraser, don't waste your breath on this hairy, knuckle-dragging, mouth-breathing troglodyte who's probably the only male in existence who suffers from penis envy.
But Pierce refused to get a credit because he felt that Abe was entirely Doug's creation and did not wish to detract from his performance, so he relinquished any credits and gave them all to Doug Jones.
Oh, MVP way.
I was like, cabrón, that's Niles Crane, bro. What the hell going on?
Sir, I'm John. Agent John T. Myers, Kansas City, 76. T stands for Thaddeus, Mother's older brother. Scar on your chin happened when you were 10. You still wonder if it's ever going to fade away.
But as great as Doug Jones is, I don't think there's been a better casting in any kind of comic book adaptation ever other than Ron Perlman as Hellboy. Oof. It was funny because Mike Mignola and Guillermo del Toro met with each other to figure out and discuss who they had potentially to play Hellboy. And they both at the same time said Ron Perlman.
Oh, shit. So it was unanimous. Unfortunately, Del Toro really had to fight for him because he wasn't really a well-known name at the time. He had worked with Del Toro previously in Blade Dos. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So not only because of that, but like they saw what they were going to be able to put on screen with Perlman, and it's just perfect, man. Like, I can't picture anybody else playing Hellboy, and then when we did see somebody else play Hellboy, it did not quite look right. It looked off. Like,
Perlman's bone structure just lends itself. Dude, my mom likes this movie, and she always says, why did they put plastic on his face? They should never done that. He has the face to do that.
But the prosthetics hold up. I couldn't figure out if that was like his body or not, because that was like superhero body before superhero body was a thing.
Oh yeah, that was like a chest piece.
But he did still work out 3 hours a day, 6 times a week. So I don't want to take anything from him.
Oh, hell no.
But whether he was wearing a prosthetics for his body or not, he was thick too. He's like physically imposing. He's not as tall as everybody else. I wish he might have been like a little bit taller, because it's a little weird when he's looking straight ahead at the agent, right? They're looking face to face.
Oh, Simon.
But
I mean, they kind of get away with it. Frida. They kind of get away with it on the wide shots, because he uses platforms.
Yeah,
like platform boots, and you see the platform boots, which is hilarious.
As two thick boys, I feel like he represents, and he doesn't come off cartoony.
No, that big chungus guy, like you buy that he is like that.
Right, he's a creature that they're trying to hide from the world as he goes out at night and saves them from all these Lovecraftian creatures.
And I love that it's like the red person. It has to go unnoticed.
So somebody else that was considered for Hellboy, as much as I try not to think about anybody else playing Hellboy for the rest of my life, it was a young Vin Diesel who was considered for Hellboy.
He's lacking the jaw, bro.
I know, but they could have put prosthetics on there. I don't know. He's too dry though, because he doesn't have the charisma and personality that Perlman does.
He injects so much charisma to this character that it just oozes out of the screen.
Diesel was also considered for Abe. I don't like that at all.
Oh, no.
No, I don't like that one at all.
No, hell no. No. Hell no.
Just to prove how perfect Perlman was for the role, in his right hand is the right hand of Doom, which is just giant club that he uses as a hand. There were thoughts of having the right hand of Doom on the left hand, just so that the actor would have full use of his right hand.
Okay.
But to prove how perfect Perlman was, turns out Perlman was left-handed, so this wasn't a problem at all.
Oh, shit.
So they just put it in the right hand. So how could you have the right hand of Doom on the left hand?
That's just perfect.
Speaking about personality and all that, the dialogue in the movie is very, very comic book like. He basically speaks in like one-liners. He's got jokes, but they balance it perfectly when he's like stop messing around and has a normal conversation with Liz or whatever. But I was impressed by how a movie from 2004 could have comic book lines, bunch of one-liners and cracky jokes, and not come off as cheesy or corny. I think that's credit to Perlman's performance.
I just felt like I got slapped in the face.
You never realized how he talked?
No. I was like, oh yeah, he's a giant red demon is speaking.
But he speaks in like comic book one-liners though. It's like, oh, you missed. Or when the phone rings and he hits him with the phone, it's for you. That kind of...
Awesome on.
But I never thought it was cheesy at all.
So what do you say we work this out in a nice, peaceful... Oh, crap.
And then we get to see... What are we going to call the bad guy? Cronin? I guess Cronin, because he's got Carl Ruprecht Cronin. Goddamn. Valdo. Hey, I'm going to call him Valdo. Then Valdo shows up and just slices the cops. And it's not like, holy shit, choreography. But the character is so cool and how he's moving his twin blade thingies. It's effective. But of course, I think in the second one, we get some of the best fighting ever.
Oh, yes.
It was still effective even with how kind of basic the choreography was.
It is basic, but he makes so much movement and he's so flexible that it kind of deters from the simpleness of it.
He doesn't have a face to express, but you can see how robotic he is with it. And it becomes it's honestly kind of scary. Then there's a spark between Liz and the Boy Scout. They kind of create a love triangle that is there, not really there. Then Rasputin infiltrates Liz's mind, causing a gigantic explosion at the ward, which was badass. I think Liz is badass.
Oh, her character is overpowered.
I love that he gets stacks and stacks of food with the pancakes and he's just surrounded by pussy gatos. I love that.
I would like to never set foot in his room just because I know how that many cats smell.
He might be technically 60 years old, but he ages slowly compared to us, obviously. And they're like mentally, he's around 20 something, maybe even younger than that. Because the whole movie, the Dr. Broom is worried about him not being mature enough because he knows his time is coming. So that's the whole reason why he gets his agent to kind of babysit him.
Yeah, he's basically a teen.
Hellboy is fighting one in the subway, which is where he hits him with the phone and gives him that line. But the people actually get a glimpse of him. So you have the FBI covering his tracks throughout the movie, and that develops a certain animosity between the FBI. And it doesn't help that he's being like a little kid. And Valdo actually fights like his compilla too, right? And he kills his compilla, and he gets stabbed, and a bunch of sand starts to come out when he kills Clay.
Oh, neta. Oh, I like Clay.
Clay was cool.
Simon, I mean, because Clay was his friend, his compilla.
This is where we get Liz and Myers on a date. At the same time, Dr. Broom is doing an autopsy on Valdo, and there he explains why he's full of sand and the whole thing you kind of touched upon. We go back to Hellboy stalking on the date, and we see the pigeon kid with the cookies and milk.
I think that's one of my favorite scenes just because of the energy he's portraying.
Right. Well, he's so immature that the maturity level of these two kind of go hand in hand almost. So they understand each other. And he's like, you're too young to be giving me advice, but he really not, because you're immature, man. Valdo wakes up, and when he's coming down that spiral staircase, man, it's low-key terrifying. It's creepy because he's like staring at him the whole time. And just the way he comes down, you can almost see it on the doctor's face. Always was like, well, my time's done, right? He knows. And he's like, well, there's the puppet. Where's the puppet master? And it's almost kind of beautiful how he just like accepts his fate, you know? There's no pushback. He's just like, well, I was going to die in 6 weeks anyway. And then Rasputin's respect for being like, you raised my boy, we'll make it quick.
Yeah, just like you said, there's this respect because he knows his time is up, and he played his part in everything that is about to happen.
Yeah, it was all part of the plan.
Yeah, and he knows he could do nothing else.
But there's no need for this like evil violence, right? It's almost like a step for Rasputin. You know, it's very calculated. And again, this is something you don't really see in movies like that, like a respect thing. It's a sacrifice. Like, it has to be done to get them to go to Russia because he's going to leave clues and all this other stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the way it's done, it's almost beautiful. He's like, all right, I'm done. Like, I'm done. What else do you want me to do? Ultimately, the way he dies is a way more honorable and better death, because originally in the comics, Dr. Broom is killed by a frog.
Say what?
Yeah, it's like a Lovecraftian frog shows up and kills him.
Oh yeah, this feels more honorable and dignified.
Yeah, way better. So they eventually go to Russia, and to get some directions, he pulls out a dead guy. That guy was hilarious too.
Oh my! Say hello, Ivan. The whole relationship between Ivan and Hellboy was hilarious because of that disdain.
Yeah, they hated each other. And he's like, take this guy. He's just so negative. Then we get a showdown between Valdo and Hellboy. And I like that when they're fighting, how his face, I guess you want to call it helmet or whatever, is like crunching with the putazos.
Oh, Simon is like caving in.
Yeah, because he changed, right? He got a new skin, and he's out here, Valdo with the new skin out here. And then he just gets his face crunched in. It just looked cool. And it makes sense. Wait, you get hit with the right hand of doom, something's going to happen.
And it was so satisfying to see that guy just getting pummeled and getting a giant gear thrown at him.
I like the FBI agent just throwing his 2 cents in there, kind of like, hey, you too.
When he taught him how to properly light a cigar.
Yeah, it's almost like a father figure thing. It felt like.
I was like, oh, this feels kind of candid.
So because the group got split up, we got Liz and the Boy Scout, and they end up in a nest of Samael creatures. It's nasty. Then he comes to save the day, and it's very unsettling when she's like, hit me, to piss him off.
Oh, wait, see?
He smacks the shit out of her, bro, and then she's like, you better run. It's like, oh, Liz is pissed.
She just rained down hell on those people.
That was satisfying, right? Because she's OP, but she's badass. I really like Liz. So he eventually becomes the key and unleashes the monsters halfway through. He stops halfway to stab the very bad guy. Again, very easily. There was no fight there. and he explodes the giant monster from the sky, but the one he did unleashed did come to play.
How big can it be?
Those are supposed to be dragons.
Okay.
I just found that out.
But they went more for the Lovecraftian creature.
Yeah, that's still effective. It was just, ugh. Those many eyes and tentacles should not go together. It was a Hellboy kicking a baby dragon's ass with a giant stone sword. I love that. That line after he busts out of the monster stuck with me for so many years that
Gonna be sore in the morning.
This whole movie flies by, man. You don't even know it was 2 hours when I told you 2 seconds ago.
I thought it was like an hour and a half.
Nah.
To me, it's always been short.
No, it's over 2 hours long, but there's so much crammed in. There's really there's no filler at all. They used the Seed of Destruction as a base. Like, his origin story from that is what's taken. Again, I think that Mike Mignola's collaboration with Del Toro is really what makes this movie. It's that type of like let the chefs cook thing that will always pay off, but they just don't seem to do that nowadays. They hire people that they can control to have their stupid ideas in movies that actually end up ruining the movies.
You want to know what happened with the latest Hellboy? Watch a podcast by the Critical Drinker. He has the director, and the director just is spewing acid about the producers. But this is the perfect example of just let the artists do art.
Again, we got to remember where we were at the time with comic book movies. It had a $60 to $66 million budget, and it grossed a little bit under $100 million. So there was some profit there.
I mean, we had Elektra, we had Daredevil.
At that time, yes.
Yeah, at that time.
This had a sequel, which we are excited to watch. If you guys enjoyed this, let us know by dropping a like down there, and we'll do the second one for you guys. But if you want to watch something that was also a shit fire and that was also very old, I'll leave Swamp Thing for you right over here. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you guys for watching. Remember to always and forever. You do.
Bye.
You remembering Swamp Thing?
That was a movie, yeah.
That was something.
Yep.